Hello. Happy Sunday. This case is getting crazy, and the new rumors that are popping up are wild, and let's buckle up.
And to his sister, Kristen.
And brother John stepped in, moved into the house in Canton, and raised them for 8 years.
My husband on the phone with his mother saying he's going to be okay. He's going to be okay.
Awesome. Good.
Yeah.
Paulo P. After what he's helped do to me, I changed my mind. I don't want him changing teams. Real shit was stupid.
You are a disgrace to your brother, dude. A disgrace. You are a disgrace. I'll say whatever I want.
He said they found Johnny in the snow this morning.
Karen Reed was there. She was being restrained by hospital employees.
She kept saying, this is all my fault. This is my fault. I did this.
She said, do you think I hit him? Do you think I hit him? And I said, no, I don't think you hit him. He repeated, I hit him.
I hit him. I hit him. Oh my God, I hit him.
I hit him. I hit him. I hit him.
It was preceded by a did.
So could I have hit him?
And proceeded by a question mark.
Kind of running around screaming different things.
Could he be dead? Could be dead. And she said, could I have hit him?
Several times I hit him. I hit him.
I remember there was one piece of metal sort of sticking out.
I think that there was a lot of political pressure on this district attorney's office.
Manslaughter is a tremendous reach in this case. I don't see any criminal intent that would justify manslaughter.
I didn't see any actual tears, but
there was no criminal intent. This was not some random stranger. This was my client's boyfriend, somebody with whom she was in love.
I'm not happy per se. Just realistic, there are cracks, and it's far from perfect.
I think things went too far. It was late. There was alcohol involved.
I was. But things have deteriorated.
At 4:30 in the morning, my client is placing multiple calls.
Jen!
I answered the phone, and she said, John's dead.
She had no idea that he was deceased or that anything had happened.
Karen said that she remembered leaving him at Waterfall.
I hit him. I hit him. Oh my God, I hit him.
Wondering where he is, why he hasn't come home.
Karen, we saw you outside of my sister's.
And she said, what about my taillight? What about my taillight? And I looked, and there was a piece missing.
Never stayed out at night without her.
John didn't come back to our room till after 3 a.m.
I hit him.
Karen, did you ever say I hit him? I hit him.
I did not. I said I hit him
It was several times.
because he's dead.
She told me that she had to remember the bad times.
Having a psychological issue.
He had blood on her face, her neck and chin. She kept saying, I can't take care of these kids. They're not my kids.
Because I went from being solo to trying to give attention to kids who aren't mine. And I never wanted kids.
Karen was just a babysitter with benefits.
It is very complicated. He and I dated when we were kids, and then his sister died, and everything got fucked up.
She grabbed my hands and she said, Google hypothermia, Google how long it takes to die in the cold.
She asked if somebody could be alive in the snow without a jacket for many hours. She would have periods of calmness, and then other periods she would appear agitated. Go from crying in her hands to all of a sudden perking up. She had said that they had gotten into an argument.
Screaming my name over and over.
She said anybody who knows Kerry Roberts wouldn't say those things. It seems strange to say something like that after you were just crying because your husband was dead.
If anything did you say about Miss Roberts? Objection.
Sustained.
What, if anything, did the defendant say about Miss Roberts?
Objection.
Sustained. Next question, please.
The tone, she would go from being almost despondent to when she asked me if I knew Kerry Roberts, the only tone I can use to describe it is snarky.
Objection. Move to strike.
I thought could have happened was that did I incapacitate him unwittingly, somehow, and then in his drunkenness, passed out?
People are harassing him saying he was at the house when it's not true.
You've never been in a fight?
No.
You're aware he was beaten up by Brian Higgins.
Did you say you would beat them up, or did you say, I will fuck you up?
I said I will F you up.
No, you didn't say I will F you up. What did you actually say?
That I would fuck them up.
So when you said I will fuck you up and I will beat your ass, was that a friendly invitation?
No.
That was a threat, correct?
I don't know if I would call it a threat.
Don't?
I'm not sure.
Someone walks up to you. I'm not going to do it. If someone did, walked up to you and said, I will fuck you up. I will beat your ass. You wouldn't take that as a threat?
If they walked up to me, yeah.
But if they didn't walk up and just shouted it across the street and stood there and said, I will fuck you up, I will beat your ass, that's not a threat.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think you are sure, sir.
And what specifically type of harassment?
They calling us murderers, harassing us.
Likely brought down to the basement.
Constant phone calls.
Seriously, what do you want with me?
I mean, we couldn't leave the house without people taking pictures of us, and it's very terrible.
They're cop killers, ladies and gentlemen. That's a cop killer right there. You're stupid cunt daughters, that's what they fucking are. Hanging out with this fucking worthless piece of shit. Colin fucking Albert.
Awful messages.
Showing up to our doorsteps, our sports games.
Hey Jen, how you doing? Fancy seeing you here.
Sorry, do you have a child on the team?
Do you?
I do, so I'm trying to watch.
No, I'm at a public event, so I can do whatever I want.
People showing up at our house.
You guys are being taken for a fool.
That's terrible. We're being taken for a fool? Tell us how.
People emailing my school. Just like a lot of harassment. Can I have a moment, please?
Sure. Killed a cop. They killed a police officer, John O'Keefe.
We're done with
She Googled how long to die in cold.
How long a period of time is that?
A very long time.
There was absolutely no canine DNA.
Karen Reed was there.
She said, I don't think I'm ever going to see you guys again. She just yelled back in the phone, John's dead.
He's dead. Is he dead? Is he dead?
But what really stood out to me was, the eyes.
She told me that she had to remember the bad times, which struck me as an odd comment to say.
They got into a fight and that she left him at the waterfall.
I thought she was crazy.
Say, Karen, we saw you outside of my sister's.
I saw the black SUV arrive to the Fairview.
There was another vehicle in front of us.
Up the hill towards us.
On the same road coming from the opposite direction.
It was a black SUV.
I've noticed a male and a female in the car.
A car length and a half in front of me.
And at any point in time, did you see anybody exit from that vehicle at any point?
No.
You never saw anyone around the SUV, correct?
Correct.
Yes, I definitely looked out a third time.
I'd say moved up maybe another car length in front of us.
It had now proceeded further up the road, past the flagpole, past the utility box, past the fire hydrant.
Fair to say that you would have seen a 6-foot man walking away from that car going towards the house?
Correct.
Okay. You were in a vantage point where you would have seen that had that occurred, correct?
Correct.
And you didn't see that?
I did not.
Okay.
She told me that she didn't remember going there. Miss Reed came running up my walkway, saying that she had cracked her taillight. We need to go to Fairview. I told Matt that I was going to go with Karen. I promised Kaylee. That I would find John and everything was going to be okay.
She was just acting kind of erratic.
All of a sudden, Karen starts screaming, there he is.
So I looked over and I didn't see anything. And I looked at Jen and I said, she's crazy. And I unlocked the door and I sat back and watched. And she ran over to a mound of snow.
You were able to see anything outside of the vehicle?
I saw nothing.
But couldn't see him right away. I had to get out of the truck to see.
I ran over and I dug his head out
rub the snow.
Kerry wiping the snow off of John's face, and I could not believe that that was John laying there. She tells Karen to do mouth to mouth. Blood starts coming out of John's mouth.
She said, I don't think I'm ever going to see you guys again. And I said, of course you will. We're friends.
Karen Reed was framed. Her car never struck John O'Keefe. She did not cause his death.
Disgusting. Disgusting, Paul. Disgusting. Disgusting.
And said, just another day I wish I didn't talk to an O'Keefe after 2004.
Oh, every time I watch that stuff, it makes me mad because it's so blatantly. As the evidence rolls out, I think we're seeing more and more that there's no way that any of them ever believed this conspiracy. Like her lawyers never believed it. None of them ever did. And they're just harassing these people for no reason. And I mean, it's just unbelievable. So one of the things that I've noticed, so I'm waiting for like some bombshells, some potential bombshells, could be 623, 624, when the Google search was done, when Karen was asking to Google how long to die in the cold, they were sitting in a cruiser. So there might be dash cam audio that caught that, which would be amazing. I just think that would be a huge, I have a feeling that from the clips of the videos that we're seeing, Lally is saving up some really good things. Because like we didn't see them look at the tail light yet. I'm assuming that's on video. Maybe it's not, but I would think that it would be. So I mean that if they caught her asking how long to die in cold on video, that would be amazing. So the Higgins Jeep thing, the first thing that she says to Kerry, like, what if he got hit by a plow, right? I feel like that's because she was looking at Higgins' Jeep with the plow on it. And that's why she might have said that first thing in the morning. She looked at the plow and, I just don't know, like, how it's going to be really interesting to see, like, at what point she kind of noticed what happened. It could have been right away. And maybe she thought someone was going to come find him or like help him. And, she waited hours for that to happen. And then she realized no one's come and help him. And then she started panicking. So I don't know. I think we're going to be able to tell by her phone though, but it's that, so when we go back, and I think it's David Yannetti was saying there's a voicemail from Karen Reed at 12:41, which means she was home because we can hear the garage door, blah, blah, blah. That directly conflicts with, I think Lally said at 12:46, I think at 12:46, according to Key Cycles, that's when they think that she did the reverse into him. So it's interesting. Like, is there really a voicemail on there at 12:41? Like, are they just making shit up? I mean, they have made a lot of stuff up, and that's why I don't understand how the cult is not acknowledging that yet, because certain things like, I mean, the library footage, it's like 12:37 to 12:39. They're saying that's missing, but I don't even think that's on the way. I mean, it's not on the way. So the video points out towards Washington Street, which is the street that Waterfall Bar is on. And Sherman Street is the cross street, but Sherman Street is the street that she would be driving on to go from 34 Fairview over to One Meadows. So there's no reason for her to be down Washington Street. So I don't even think she'd be driving by that way anyway. And I think it's the wrong time. So there's just all these stupid little things that it's going to be fun to put these videos together showing how much they lied. The cult, I don't think is ever going to wake up, but I think there's certain, I don't know. And even the creators, I don't think that I just can't wait till more evidence comes out where it's like, you can't lie anymore. You're going to have to, like, I don't know. You're going to have to say something or do something. So what I noticed on this, So looking at this, like I have a feeling they are going to have really, really good. So I never noticed this before, but see this like scratch right up here? And then there's a dent, and this is all peeling paint. And I was looking at the affidavit and it said like there's they call this a minor dent, but I feel like it's kind of a big dent. But a minor dent and a deep scratch. And so I think this is the deep scratch, but there's also scratches on the glass. And what that tells me is that, and you can kind of see it in the better picture now that you know what you're looking for when you look at the faraway picture, because all the reflections here kind of shade it away. So let me close this stupid thing. So like you can see the scratches here. See how it's kind of like around. So I think this is the glass. I would think this is the glass. And I think his hand probably hit, like I think it's his arm, like his glass. The glass is hitting over here because the glass is found in the bottom as well. And so I looked at Waterfall to see what kind of glasses they have, and it's exactly the shape that you think it would be. This is the Waterfall glass. And this dense bottom is not going to shatter into a million pieces. So that's why there probably was pieces found. And that could break a taillight. That could definitely go through a taillight. So I think that that's probably what it is, like his arm holding the glass. And in the glass, even if the glass broke the taillight, it could have bounced up over here because that piece, like that's solid. That bottom is not breaking. So there's definitely a lot that could, this could have bounced across the car a couple times in a couple different places. So I just think, I mean, this obviously didn't happen from backing into his car. So, and then in the affidavit, it also says that there's above a light. I think there's scratches down here too, which I don't know what that could be, but I just feel like he was just hit. I don't even think he was bent over anymore now, like thinking like that's like that could have hit his elbow. So if we look at like his injuries, like that elbow, and it looks like he's like swollen maybe or something. Like where is his elbow? Like it looks like down here it's like really swollen. But these linear injuries definitely could come from that sharp edge of this. And I think that the impact was probably down here, so that's why these ones look like that. And then he probably rolled off the car and scraped up his arm. I just think it's ridiculous that, there's just so much, because I was trying really hard to like get to the point where it's like, okay, is Higgins a possibility? And like, no matter what I try, you just can't get there because like, what the hell happened to our car? Like, I mean, if it was just the taillight smashed out and like here, you can even see it. This is her driving away in the morning. So like it would look like this. It would be like a straight light, but you can see that jagged piece. And it's because the top is not attached to this either. So that's the light coming through the top. It should be all dark basically, except for this bottom 3 lights. It should look just like this, but there's no cover on it. So in this is probably the metal piece that Kerry was talking about, saying it was sticking out. Like I think this is probably like loose. There could be other pieces though, like maybe the casing up here that we don't see. And the thing is too, like pieces could have continued to fall out after she drove away. So it will be interesting to see if they actually found all of the pieces or not. I mean, I would think that, there's a potential that they didn't find all the pieces because they were a bunch probably fell out when at the scene, but then as she's driving away, it's windy, there's all kinds of stuff going on. I think that more pieces could have been lost. But I think it's pretty clear that this is a jagged edge. There's light peeking out the top. It should not have light coming all the way to the side like that. It's because this top is not attached. And I wish hopefully there's more pictures of it. I'm sure there are. But like you can kind of see it's not even on. This is like pretty much hanging off. It's just attached to this like bottom, like the right side. I think the top is completely loose. You can see like the metal up there. And that's why the light's coming through the top, because this is like a aerial kind of view. I did see that. I don't know if that's true. And that's the thing too, like if the autopsy pictures come out and they are like super obvious what happened, like it's gonna make them all look so bad, like Jackson, Yannetti, Karen Reed. I mean, Karen Reed's family, if they pulled their shit and it's like really there's nothing to it, and it's like so obvious that there was nothing to it, and I think that's what's gonna happen. And it's just like pathetic that they're all like risking their professional reputation over this. Because I mean, I just think like how can you explain it? Like how can you say, because now they're all on Higgins, and like a lot of them, and like the bombshell for Higgins is like what they're trying to get him in trouble for his job for using a government machine to extract his text messages. Like I don't even know why the jury would care about that. The jury doesn't give a shit. I feel like that's giving more validation to those text messages saying like they're real, right? So someone told me this at one point during the beginning, that the attorneys recommended that she go to Alcoholics Anonymous. I don't know if that's true. I said it when I was on the chat with way back in August when I was talking to Turtle Boy, and Turtle Boy's like, she's never been Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm like, how does he know? And this was before we knew that he was like colluding with her. But I was kind of like he was answering like as if he was part of the team. Like he's like, we're not taking any plea deals. I was like, that's weird. And like even in the chat, people were like, how is he so confident that certain things happened, certain things didn't? You know, because as true crime creators, you should be like questioning everything, right? Like, how can you know for sure that she didn't do this or didn't do that? Like, I don't know. The whole thing is weird. I really think so. I'm wondering if there's stuff scrubbed on there, or what's going on with her phone records. I mean, the Commonwealth has surprises, I'm sure. Likewise, the defense, anything that the defense hasn't talked about, it's definitely not good. So they never talked about her phone records. You know, if there was anything good on there that could be exculpatory, they would have blasted it all over the internet. So I don't think there's anything good on there. I just don't know how bad it is either. I would love it if it's like How Long to Die in Cold or something. That would just be amazing. Because that would just like solve everything. Like I just cannot believe that they're going into this when they're going to look so freaking bad. I mean, yeah, you can talk about people not packaging things properly, but like honestly, even if we didn't have DNA, and we just can get like an accident reconstructionist, I feel like you still would make the connection. Like the guy was dead in a place where she lied about being. And like she lied about being in the spot. She wanted to say it was at Waterfall. She left the voicemails, I think at 1 a.m. But like it just confuses me because David United said 12:41 at one point. So I don't know. But did she already figure it out? Like, did she see him go down? And the way that like Matt McCabe described it, it seems like she could have been, you know, chilling out there, seeing if he was going to get up or not. And then maybe she took off because she got scared, and then she hit her car. But she was thinking that she probably thought that they were going to come right out of the house and, you know, save him. And she was like scared of getting arrested. So she like hit her car in the garage. I just don't know how she is telling Brian Higgins, you know, all my shit is in Canton, yada, yada, yada. But then when she goes to the house for the last time, we see her on video with her father walking out with like one small bag. So like all her shit is in Canton, but she doesn't even take anything out. So did she just like abandon all of her property, or like was she already moved out? Like I'm just really confused about that. Thank you. I appreciate it. And this has been like a long, I don't even know. When I first started talking about this case, I thought it was probably just going to be like a little, well, I thought it was a cover up. So I was like, oh, I'm going to break the story. I'm going to try to break the story. Like Turtle Boy was already kind of breaking it, but I was like, oh, but he wasn't on TikTok. So I was like, oh, I'm breaking the story, a cover up story. Cause I do cover up stories. And I thought that's what this would be. And it turned into I'm fighting trolls for a year now. And I'm just like, oh my God. But I just can't believe. And I think a lot of people have changed their mind. I think that some creators are probably going to be changing their mind this week. So I just hope that there's stuff in there that's going to, I just feel really bad for Jen McCabe because honestly, I know that nothing, like she didn't do anything wrong. She was dragged into this by Karen completely. And I just feel like she has just gotten so much shit for a year. And, people are still taking pictures of her house. And it's like, it's just like, I really hope that there's something in there, whether it's the cruiser audio of Karen asking her to Google how long to die in cold, or, even if it's just this accident reconstruction stuff. Like, I think that it's just so ridiculous. And like that Google search really screwed up her life. And it's like, was Karen, I don't know about how diabolical Karen really is. She's definitely a liar. From those text messages, it just like tells me that she is completely comfortable being deceitful and lying. And, if you think about the Scott Peterson case, people really weren't, as soon as they found out that he was cheating, they all turned on him. And that was what did it. And maybe that's not right. But at that point, people really just felt differently about it. It just changed the entire perspective of him. And I think it has changed the perspective on Karen Reed, just seeing those messages. And I think when they hear her voicemail, it's going to be pretty, it's really going to swing in a different direction. But just the damage on the car. We haven't gone over the damage too much. I don't know. Like, we've seen the pictures. But I think it's like once the accident reconstructionist, or hopefully it's Carino. So like, I think it's going to be state of mind stuff is next. So I saw Turtle Boy saying, if you don't support Karen Reed because of what came out, we never said she was a good person. I did see that. I don't know if that's a blow up, but I saw like a tweet about it. And I was like, oh my God. I don't know if I replied to it. He doesn't reply to me at all. Or he hasn't a lot. No, he doesn't want. I think that he's being coached by them too, because normally he would fight with other people, but like you're bringing more attention, the more like if you speak to me, like all of his supporters are going to start hearing my stuff or like seeing my arguments. So like that's why they probably coached him not to like interact with anyone that's saying anything but what the cult is saying. So I'll have to look at it, the clip. I definitely want to see it. I got to see it. It's going to be part of the video, because I'm trying to put a video together now that's going to be, because everything's coming through in bits and pieces, and just trying to put the testimonies together, like what's corroborated, because I think everything is falling into place. And Kerry and Jen have pretty consistent testimony. The I hit him thing, I just feel like they're beating that like to death, and it's like I don't even think it matters. Like, yeah, it's worse for her because she said I hit him. But even if they took that out, and even if everyone was like, okay, she didn't say it, or she just asked the question, does it matter? I don't like, why are they so obsessed with that? That's like one little aspect of the case. And it doesn't even matter when you see the accident reconstruction and you see her phone data and all that. Like they want to like harp on it with Jen McCabe, and they want to harp on it with the with that one girl paramedic that was friends with Caitlin Albert 10 years ago. So it's like, that really doesn't matter because she said it to people at the hospital too. And we know this because when they were talking about the Good Samaritan employees, Jackson said, oh, those are admissions. We know what the rules are on admissions. We know that they have to come in. So I don't know how many of them. I think there's 4 Good Samaritan people. I don't know if all 4 of them heard it or if there's just a couple or what. But I mean, we know more people are going to be saying she admitted something. So it's like they're just trying to like disparage whoever they can. It just seems so desperate. And I just think the jury's probably like, enough people have said it that it's no big deal if, they don't care. They don't care. And so like that whole Brian Higgins thing, like people are like, oh, the jury's really going to care that he used that machine. I'm like, I don't think so. Like, I don't know why she was so, did you see how Karen Reed was like gloating about that too? I don't understand why she was gloating about that. Like, it just seems like, I don't know what the big deal is. Because it's like that's his job. That's like a federal, it has nothing to do with the case. Like, oh, maybe he's going to get in trouble for a federal offense. I don't think he is because, the law that AJ cited was basically if you're doing something for personal gain, you can't use government equipment for personal gain or something along those lines. But is it personal gain, really? I don't think so. And the fact of the matter is that his phone records were never subpoenaed, I don't believe. So he gave that up on his own. And, from this case, and I would never give up my phone after seeing what they did to Jen McCabe in this case. Because, I mean, there's going to be stuff in your phone. And so, and they're cops and they know that. And that's why they're probably both like, they're going to find some like seedy shit that we said or that we did or something. They try to do it with Matt McCabe saying, oh, you called it the Asian house. Like, they're sketchy bastards. So I just think it's like, I don't know. Like, I just don't know why they think that's such a like great deal, unless it's like, oh, we can say that because he got that illegally or something, it shouldn't be admitted to trial and try to do a mistrial or something. Like, I don't think so. But I mean, I just don't understand why Karen Reed was so happy about that. Unless you're just like screwing people over, which I think is very well possible because she does get happy about she got happy about some of the Collins stuff. Which is like weird because I could see her being happy with Brian Higgins because those messages were freaking embarrassing. I would be so humiliated if I had to read messages like that. Thank God I don't talk to any thirsty hoes, but my God, that was embarrassing. Like, are you hot? I mean, do you think I'm hot? I hope you stay over tonight, like while your boyfriend's in the room. That's so gross. Like, she's nasty. And it's like, at the same time, it's like you just screamed at him for hugging his godson's aunt. And it's like, well, that's a double standard. That's abusive. The defamation suits, I just feel like, and that's something that I'm trying to keep track of now again, is the collusion stuff. So we know that like they confiscated Karen Reed's phones. I think it was like in December or January, November, maybe December. I don't know, somewhere around there. And like some of the stuff in the trial. So like when Lally was like, you didn't call anybody, Kerry, did you? And it was because that recording of the 911 call was leaked, obviously by the defense. And so it seems like, because that really doesn't have anything to do with this case specifically. But that other case, it does. And so I think that he's setting it up to be, he's setting up that other case for whoever it is that's going to take it. But because I mean, it's the defense attorneys that were leaking the stuff or allowing it to. I know that they were going through them. Like Karen wasn't just going to be leaking stuff directly to Turtle Boy without checking with her attorneys, I'm sure. So I just think, they're going to be in some trouble. And so I know that 911 call was one of the things that was in the list of items that they were talking about in the collusion, probable cause affidavit. I don't even remember. It's hard to keep track because it's like the whole Lindsay thing. is associated because he told things to Lindsay, but that's only like one piece of it. I mean, they put up the poll cameras and like they really like, and I think, I don't know if it was Trooper Proctor, but they really got Turtle Boy. Because I mean, you would think that, I mean, maybe they did tell him, maybe they did warn him before, but they knew that the rally was coming and they put up cameras. So they had all those photos and they had the video. And it's like, in most of the stuff that's in that case is he's doing it on YouTube. So it's like on video. So there's no way that you can say I didn't do it. I feel like it's the most clear case of witness intimidation I've ever seen. So it's, it's going to be interesting. I just don't know who has money though. Like, does Turtle Boy have money? No, I don't think so. I mean, that fund that they raised, I mean, they could get access to that. But I have a feeling that they're probably, if they know that they're getting sued, they're going to get rid of that money. I just don't feel like Karen Reed's family probably has money. I think she's bankrupting them with this trial. So I just don't know. I mean, David Yannetti, and maybe he has money. Yeah, he probably has money. Sue David Yannetti. Sue Alan Jackson. I'm in. I'm all here for it. I just don't know. They just let Turtle Boys do so much before they acted. And they made sure that it's just unbelievable. It's 189 phone calls, I think. I think it's 40 hours of phone calls between him and Karen Reed. And it was when all this harassment was going on. They had lunch with him. Some of the leaked stuff, the Lucky Lawford thing was definitely leaked by them because the only person that knew about that was the private investigator. I agree. She should have a garage sale. I mean, so Lucky Lawford, I'm just very interested in the Lucky Lawford thing because it's like, did he, and Michael Trotta is the public works guy, I think, is like Lucky Lawford's boss. So he's also a witness. So it's going to be interesting to see like what the deal is. So Trooper Proctor went to Michael Trotta and he's like, nobody plowed that road or whatever. And then Lucky Lawford said that he did plow that road. But the thing is, they knew about this way in the beginning. The defense did. And it's like, it was never talked about why. The way that they leaked it was through Turtle Boy only. It was never talked about in motion hearings or anything like that. And it's just interesting because I feel like there's something wrong with the testimony, whether he's not credible or something, or something just doesn't add up or whatever. So it's going to be really interesting to see. And the feds, I think we know that the feds didn't have him testify. So I don't know. It sounds like he is probably lying, which is going to be great if he was, because I mean, I don't know. They're not talking about the Ford Edge anymore. And, because they said Colin Albert had a Ford Edge. They said Tristan had a Ford Edge. They said all these people had a Ford Edge. And, in Lucky Lawford's interview, he said it was like, I think light gray or white. So it's not even the right color anyway. But the whole Lucky Lawford thing is going to be really interesting. Yeah, I know the cult is crazy. YouTube, I'm not YouTube. TikTok though is, I think a lot of people are just like learning about this case for the first time, and from the first time, I think you're gonna hear all the creators that are on the side of the conspiracy, right? And that's the more like enticing story. So I think that they're gonna, I don't know, because I've seen like comments on mine and it's like people just are really clueless. Like they don't know anything about this case. They're just thinking, they're hearing the phone stuff. Like that's the big thing that people are hearing, like people that haven't been following. And it's kind of like the Hillary smashed her phones with hammers. It's like that soundbite, like people destroyed their phones. It's, it's it leaves a strong impression on people. But like to me, the phones, it's like, did they even ever have access to the phones like legally? I don't think they did. So it's like, and it was, in September, that's when they did the preservation. It was September. So it was like 8 months later. I think they both upgraded maybe the day before. Higgins kept his phone, preserved the phone, until the motion was denied that they didn't have probable cause to the phones. So I don't know. I don't think it's like they destroyed their phones. And I mean, if after that motion was denied, then Higgins got rid of the phone, and I think that's what he was saying. I just feel like, is that like, I don't know. I feel like, what does it matter? And at this juncture, it matters a little because we haven't seen all the other evidence yet. But I feel like once they get into the forensics and all that, it's like, and I think that's why Lally did the case this way. We're hearing all of the witnesses. We're doing the personality witnesses now. So Higgins, probably the kids, and then we're gonna look at her phone, because that's kind of giving you insight into her like mindset. But then he's going to hit us with like all the hard evidence, which is going to be, the experts and the phone people, and that's how his case is probably going to end. And then we have the kids. So the kids either, and the Good Samaritan witnesses that she admitted it to. So there's still a lot of witnesses on the prosecution side. There's a lot of troopers. It's just going to be interesting to see. I just don't see. I think there's bombs, and like Lally really better drop some bombs on Tuesday. I'm like really, really hoping, like, this is your time. Adam Lally, this is your time to shine. So finish up with Higgins, drop some bombs. And I feel like the way that Lally could dominate Tuesday would be to have both of the kids testify, because I don't think the prosecution's going to cross-examine them. Judging from how they didn't cross-examine Paul or Aaron O'Keefe, they didn't cross-examine Kerry. I don't think they'll cross-examine the kids. So, and I think people are going to believe the kids. So I think it would be maybe a good day to have the kids and to show some phone data, because I think that's what everyone is dying to see. Phone data or EDR data or experts, something. Yeah, I mean, I think she just needs to be. I mean, she's just a bad person. Like she's just so bad, and it's like it's not so much. I mean, it really depends on how she left him there, right? And I think there's a reason why the O'Keefes and I think Carl Dougal are so mad at her, and I think that it's because she left him to die in the cold. I think it's because he could have survived, and who knows what they know, but like maybe they do know that she started, conspiring at like 1 a.m. and just thought, I don't know. She probably just, or maybe she thought he was going to get up and he was fine. I just don't know. I do feel like, I agree. I think he destroyed it after the motion was denied. I just feel like, yeah, it's just such smoke and mirrors. It's all smoke and mirrors, because there's nothing really. There's nothing there. It's like, come on, let's see something. I mean, I was expecting more than what they had. Like, so for Colin Albert, I was expecting him to actually be a punk. I don't think that fight is him. I mean, if the fight was him, then they would call him back up. They have the potential to call him back up and be like, this is you. Because in Massachusetts, you can't recall witnesses unless there's new information that you didn't have before. And so they could purposely, pretend that they don't have information just to be able to call these witnesses up at the end. So they could be doing that. That could be like their sketchy strategy, but I doubt it. I mean, that fight video, I don't know if that's him. So I think it's like, they would look like such jokes if that's not even him. So I don't know. Karen Reed's mother. I mean, I think her brother really just, to me, her brother just comes off as such a slime. Like he just, I don't like him. He's always smiling. Like when they were implicating Colin, he always had such a big smile on his face, clapping, and the father too. But, it's just so gross. And it really is so gross. So yeah, I think that the family sectioned her to get her away from law enforcement. I mean, at the time when they called, she was away from law enforcement. She was with Kerry in the car. So I think that they were probably worried about her killing herself, maybe. I mean, I don't know what pills, and they were telling Kerry, don't let her have the pills in her purse. So I'm wondering what it was. Xanax, probably, or I don't know what else it could be. Some kind of sleeping pills, something. Um, but yeah, I think I mean, they probably knew she was. I wonder what she said to them on the phone. I mean, Kerry was in the car and she didn't even testify to anything about that. I guess you can't because it would be hearsay. But if it's admissions, I think you can. I'm just, it would just be so interesting to find out what the hell she said. I mean, her dad does seem worried. His body language is like, I mean, I think that they probably maybe there was stuff on Colin that they thought they were going to bring in and the judge denied it. I don't know what it would be though. It was probably some BS stuff. But the judge is like, no, this isn't Facebook court. This is like real court. You can't just put social media and drag people here. Yeah, I mean, I think the texts are bad. Like her side is trying to say, oh, it just means she's not a bad person, or it just means she's not perfect. We never said she was perfect, whatever. I think they're bad because, we know that, and I don't understand what the hell her problem is. So I was thinking about it today because I'm like, all right. So in her messages to Brian Higgins, she's saying, I don't care if he cheats as long as I don't know about it. I just want to do whatever I want. So she's saying that kind of thing. But then she says it really affected me what happened in Aruba. But then she's saying she doesn't care about the girl or the cheating. It's more about the kids. So it's like, my thought is that he was not smashing as much as she would have liked, and maybe he was like drinking and like that was always a no. And so the thing is too, so in her text she's saying she doesn't like the kids. She never wanted kids. Kerry was calling her the babysitter with benefits, and I'm wondering if that was a subject of their fighting, because like the babysitter with benefits, so Jen said that the other day. But then as we come to find out in those texts, it kind of does seem like that is what she's complaining about too, is that she doesn't want to take care of kids, or she's annoyed by it's just such a weird thing, because it's like, then why are you with someone that has kids? And that she's like, oh, his sister fucked everything up when she died. Like what? And so I'm wondering if it's like they weren't having sex, and like he was getting drunk, and so she got that second room, because so she got their own room. Most people are sharing rooms with kids. I think that was like the subject of what Laura Sullivan was saying, is like most families stay in the same room, but she got like another room on the other side of the hotel to stay away from the kids. And so probably because she wanted to and if he was like drinking the whole time, maybe he wasn't into it, not having sex or whatever. And maybe he just didn't want to, and maybe the kids were like his excuse to not do it, because like he was always like responsible for the kids, but maybe he just had lost interest. There's like a lot of things that there's just something underlying, because it's not just like, oh, you're the babysitter. Because I mean, why are you with someone that has kids? Like, what do you think is going to happen? The kids are going to be there until they grow up. So it's like, it's just so weird. So I'm wondering if that's what it is. She got that separate room from them so that they could have sex, and he was just drinking all the time and, not really doing what the hell she wanted him to do. I'm not sure. Yeah, so that's the thing too. So it's like, but in front of people, they were happy. but behind closed doors, and that might be how it was. Like, I just don't understand. So I was gonna try to look at that hotel. I think it's that Renaissance in Aruba. Like, how big is that hotel? So if because she's saying, oh, he didn't come back to our room till 3 a.m. But like the way that they were talking, it's like he was at the pool the whole time, which I think the pool is in the middle. And like, how big is that hotel? She wouldn't have walked out there to find him, or like, did he fall asleep in one of the chairs out there? Maybe. Um, it's just weird because it's like he was at that hotel. And like, is she trying to say that that girl that he bumped into in the hallway was cheating with her? I thought that the girl described it as she had just arrived and ran into him, and I thought it was during the day. But then Karen, in her interviews, are saying she had a ring in the New Year alone with the kids until 3 a.m. But her and the kids didn't even have the same room, so it's like really weird. I don't understand. Carrie was watching the rally. So Karen is very much into like the crowds and all that stuff. I know Karen went up to the sidebar one time too, which I thought was weird. Yeah. I mean, I think there's going to be a movie, or at least a spin-off, but it kind of reminds me of, what is that girl's name? This whole thing reminds me of Pamela Smart, kind of. So Pamela Smart was a really manipulative person, and then there was a ton of movies made about it, but like the one that stands out to me is like the one that Nicole Kidman was in it, and it was like, it wasn't the same exact story, but basically she was a psycho and manipulating people, and like Karen is just super manipulative. But I don't know how good she is at it, because I don't think she looks that nice. So it's almost like Casey Anthony. Casey Anthony, I don't think ever looked that nice. But Karen's like smiling a lot. It's just like so obvious. Like Casey Anthony always had like a mug on her face, but Karen does have a mug on her face, or she's smiling. But like both expressions on Karen look inappropriate. Like one is just a murder face, and one is like, why are you happy your boyfriend's dead? I know. I need to find out. Yeah, I know. It totally sucks that it's just so weird. Like they signed over everything. So like that would be the thing, is I guess they just signed over everything in their phones. But if you were going to do that, I think Karen, Kerry, and Jen all gave up their phones. Obviously, they were looking for different things, but from Jen and Kerry, the Commonwealth is probably just looking for like the timelines. They can have exact times when certain things happened. And they probably weren't looking at all their data, their Google searches and all that too. But if you're ever in the situation like this, I think you don't sign the piece of paper completely saying everything. You could say, you can take my call log or whatever. You can take these pieces, but I wouldn't give them access to everything. I know. I really can't. I can't believe that people are. I mean, I feel like it's died down a lot. I think that there's like a core cult that will never change, but I think that a lot of people are waking up. I mean, the kids are on the witness list. I would think that they will testify. I believe that they testified in the grand jury. They could do it a bunch of different ways. I don't think they'll be cross-examined. I think that they could do it maybe not at court. I think that's a potential. I think I've seen that before where they do video interviews with them. So, I mean, there's a lot of different ways to do it, but I think that the son's testimony is important because he's the one that said that Karen has access to the ring cam. So his testimony is needed to prove that she's the only one that could have deleted it. And then they both saw them fighting. They both, saw the fight in Aruba. They both talked about them breaking up in fights that happened the past month. So I think that month from the Aruba trip, and that's what I don't get, because Karen's saying, "Oh, that really affected me," and she talks about it in the interview on Nightline. But it's like, what was she so mad about? Is she mad because she thought it was going to be like a romantic getaway, but they had the kids, and she even got a separate room, and John still didn't want to spend time with her? I kind of think that could be it. I just think that he was not that into her, or he was like over her, and I think he was trying to tell her, or like maybe he was just okay with how things were, like having a loveless relationship, but a babysitter with benefits, right? So I don't know. I mean, that could be it. Like when people feel that like spark gone, people go nuts sometimes. But I mean, why didn't she just move on then? Why didn't she just date Higgins? Who cares? I was thinking save kids for very last. I mean, there's definitely a lot of different ways to go about it. I would think that they want to continue on this path of her state of mind, but you never know. They could save the kids for last. I mean, the Good Samaritan people, I was expecting the Good Samaritan people to be up with the first responders. I was thinking that was the next step. Like we heard all from all the first responders, and then we're going to hear from the people once she got to the hospital. I thought that's what we would hear next, but that didn't happen. So I think that it might be that the Good Samaritan people are at the end. They might be at the end of the experts, because there is like blood work and certain things, and there's probably he went to Good Samaritan too, so there's definitely some of the people might be the people that were treating him, and so it might be the expert stuff, but then there's definitely statements in there where she admits it. So good luck, Karen. I don't know what she's thinking. I just think it makes her look so bad that she switched from saying it was an accident into it's a massive cover up and I'm being framed, when there's just no evidence of that at all. I mean, I just can't get over the damn taillight. And so her driving away 5 a.m, it's jagged. The light's peeking out the top, and like in the video, like when it's rolling, if you run it slow, you can see it. And so I know Lally has some, I don't know which video it is, but there was new discovery that was Brian Higgins' medical records. It was an enhanced video of the taillight. So I'm wondering if that's the taillight from that morning, from 8 a.m. Could be. But it's like weird. Like, why wouldn't that already have been done? And it might be that someone on YouTube did it. Maybe it was my video, because I did enhance it. Like maybe he's like, oh, that's a good one, we should show that. But I mean, how do you know that if he did do that, how do you know that it's not manipulated, right? So I feel like, which brings me back to, then why wasn't it already done? I don't know. I think so too. I mean, I think the phone data does correlate with, and so the phone data, what I'm curious about is like, why did Lally feel the need to say, Kerry, you didn't call anybody when you weren't calling anybody when you found the body? He's insinuating that Karen is the one that leaked that 911 call. And it was the 911 call that they played in court, because they're trying to say like Jen was whispering to her sister or something, because she had that 6-second call. I barely even heard anything. And to be honest, she was probably talking to herself. I mean, that's what I would do. I'd be like, what the fuck is going on here? Oh my God. So I just think it's nothing. But why did Lally feel the need to say that? Because if they did have the extraction from Karen's phone, like they should have that, the voicemail should be directly linked to her through her phone data. But I'm wondering if there's like missing stuff in her phone. Like if she got into that phone somehow and scrubbed things out, like I'm gonna be pissed. Like I don't know. I just don't know how she was able to like get into the ring. Yeah, she left him at Waterfall, and she kept saying it too. So it's like she said it to everybody. So she said it to Jen, and Jen was like, no, no, no. And then she kept saying it even when Kerry was there. So it's like, it's weird. And from the cameras from the Canton Library, we know that she went down to the waterfall and came back up. So she was already back down there. Like, I don't know. I just don't know what the hell she's thinking. I wonder if she did go to Fairview. I'm thinking that she did. And then she drove to Jen's house, and it's just so strange. Like, why did she even go to Jen's house? If she was already like making plans with Kerry and she was supposed to drive to Kerry's house. I don't know where that is, but instead she drives to Jen's house. Like, why? Maybe she couldn't find Fairview. Maybe that's what it is. She was trying to find it and she couldn't find it. So she went to Jen's. I don't know. But then it sounds like she was still talking about the goddamn waterfall. Or maybe she was scared and so she was still saying waterfall. So you think that is Colin? Yeah, I mean, I don't really think they didn't look too serious. But it does seem like they're trying to punch each other in the face, which is a little weird. But they both seem like really scared of the other one punching them at the same time. So it's like a really weird video. I don't know. Yep, muddy the waters to make them seem deep. And yeah, I mean, that's been their strategy, but I just feel like, the jurors are trying to put together a puzzle, right? So they're hearing all this testimony. And for me, if I didn't know anything and I was the juror right now, I would be like, okay, he was dead in that spot outside the house. She admitted it. And, maybe Higgins could be a potential at this point, right? I don't really think he has motive, but you never know. So I think what they're saying is that John saw the messages and he was mad. And it does seem like Karen was trying to get that reaction. Like Karen, because she said, oh, John's shown me that video 5 times and asked if we were hooking up. So it does seem like Karen wanted that reaction where he was going to be mad, or I don't think he would confront Higgins though. I don't know. Maybe. I doubt it though. It just seems like she was trying to like manipulate something. But yeah, so maybe John confronted Higgins, but where he did it out in the yard. Like I can't even get there. I can't get there that there's a way that Karen left and Higgins either hit him with the plow or beat him up. It just doesn't make sense because Karen would have had to have seen it. I don't know. I wonder what the jury is thinking. The jury is probably thinking, I mean, AJ at the end he's gonna like harp on all these stupid inconsistencies and stuff, but I mean, there's so many people saying that she said I hit him. Yeah, they all remind me of like Whoville or something. Like they don't even seem like real people. They're just like oh yes, Simpsons characters for sure. I was thinking Whoville, but yes, I see the Simpsons for sure. I mean, Mr. Burns is definitely the father. I think I have a video of him as Mr. Burns. Karen, yeah, the whole crime family. Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering. So we haven't seen I know that they did show video of the McCarthys. I think it might have shown her getting one drink when she arrived. I don't think it showed us all the drinks though. I mean, I was bored with that whole part of the trial because it was like Camerano. Did they ever? Did Kerry's husband testify? I can't remember. I don't think he did he? I think he might have. I can't remember. But I think he was at the waterfall at the McCarthy's with them that night too. But I don't think they showed the drinks. So I'm thinking that the troopers, one of the troopers, Yuri, probably Yuri or Proctor, is gonna go through. They're probably gonna have Yuri do it. Proctor is just gonna be the one that. I mean, they would be smart if they have Yuri do most of it because he's not friends with anybody. And just kind of go through. They're gonna show, this is why we thought she had this many drinks. They're gonna show all the drinks. They're gonna show the receipts. They're going to show the videos, the Canton Library videos, them looking at the taillight if they have it, her phone data. I mean, her phone data is like the key piece. And like they might present the phone data with Garino or whoever, because he's the Celebrate guy, I think, on the Commonwealth side. Oh no, they have a few Celebrate people. So Garino, I think, plotted the GPS coordinates. So I think that's super important. It's going to be interesting to see who they have say what. But I think that's when they'll try to put all the pieces together as one of the troopers. Like, this is why we came to this conclusion. This is our investigation. We talked to this person this day, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, they made an arrest pretty quick. So within a few hours, I think that Brian Higgins knew right away because he never responded to her thing saying, I'm dead. So in that morning, he was there when Jen McCabe was figuring it out. So he was probably like, holy shit, I dodged a bullet with that one. Like, I mean, her messages to him were creeping me out, and I'm not even getting the messages directly. So I can just imagine that he's like, he's probably physically attracted to her, but he was like, this is really weird and making me uncomfortable. Like, John's my friend, and this is just weird. Are they breaking up? What's going on? But I just think when he heard about John being dead and then Jen McCabe's story, and then he got the text that said John's dead, he's like, I need to turn this shit in because I'm not getting implicated for any of this. And I think the thing is, like, the smashed out taillight, it was present. Kerry saw it. Kerry saw the metal sticking out. There could have been more pieces missing along the way, but you can clearly see you can clearly see that jagged piece. So I just think that's it. That's what cut him up, most likely, is all that glass in there. The glass that broke, that glass definitely like got tossed against the back of the car. So I just think, and so this one, you can kind of see the two round sides. So like if we're thinking about that waterfall glass, I just think that glass definitely it's like a heavy ass. That bottom's not going to break. That's going to go right through our taillight. And then this big round top, it does seem like that's maybe part of it, but it does seem like these two scratches in the window. Because if it was his head or something, it wouldn't scratch the windshield. That has to be from glass. So it must be the glass that hit there. It's just like, all right, what else happened to our car? Like, what the hell else? Can we talk about it? Like, what is the theory? She just, this is a new car too. I think it was a 2021. This happened in January of 2022. So it's a brand new car. The glass was also on the bumper still. So I just don't understand. I wonder if it's like this metal piece that was sticking out or something over here. It's probably the piece that separates the because I think one is white and one is red. We probably can't see it. There's probably more pieces though. Yeah, I mean, the texts, the more that I learn about this case, the more that I'm like, oh my God, thank God she didn't hurt the kids. Instead, in a rage, because she does seem like it. I mean, it does seem like it was a rage thing. It wasn't premeditated. It was a crime of passion, and we have just yet to see if she kind of covered it up. And so, like this scratch too, like on this right here, I'm like, what the hell is that from? I mean, that could have been this red piece coming out, because I mean, he was heavy. He's 200 something pounds, so like his weight probably pushed that out. Like she really hit him, like really hit him. And so it's like, I don't know what she's thinking. Yeah, I mean, I think that Karen was probably spoiled. I mean, this is entitlement. I mean, it's such entitlement, especially we heard that she got like a plea deal for 16 months. Like, take the 16 months. That's not the rest of your life. And then like right here, it looks like it's scratched up too. So I think we're going to get more detail about what they think. So that's why I'm like, what the hell would that be? Like this car, I just can't think if he had a watch or if he had a phone. And then I was thinking if his phone got hit with the impact, it could have been glitching if it was when Jen McCabe was calling, and maybe that's why there's like calls on there. I'm skeptical about whether those calls are really there or not because of the way that they've did her dirty with the Celebrate report in general. I think there's just a lot of things in Rick Green's report that are purposely misleading. So I don't know, but I was thinking that it's potential that his phone got hit with the car and it was glitching. I wonder if there was damage on his phone. Yeah, I don't know why she's crazy. She's crazy. I just don't know why she would even get with someone who had kids if she really felt this way about the kids. It's just so strange. It really is so strange. Because I mean, if they were together for 2 years, it's like she should have been used to it and knows the drill. The kids are priority. You drive around the kids. You have to do things for the kids, and you guys have time when you can. That's what most couples do. So it's like, I don't know. I think he wanted to send her home. Possibly he wanted to send her home with the kids. Possibly it's because he was getting drunk that night on Fairview. But like the thing is, nobody said that either one of them appeared drunk. They could also be saying that because they don't want to disparage him, and they're all cops, so it's like drink and driving kind of thing. I don't know though, but like it does seem like that girl's testimony. I can't think of what her name is. Sullivan, Marietta Sullivan. I mean, she was openly like, John came stumbling in, glassy-eyed. He was hammered. And then Karen called him a puddle for that whole time. She said he was a puddle the whole time that they were there. So he was getting hammered on that vacation anyway. And so maybe that was the problem with... Oh, that's right. So 10 p.m. So what is she... So that's what I'm confused about. 10 p.m., Etta put her mom to bed and ran into John. And that's when Karen yelled at her in the lobby. But then on Nightline, she's saying she spent New Year's alone until 3 a.m. So that means that John must have walked down on her after that. Unless she's just lying, which it's potential. It does seem like everything that Karen said, though, there's some truth to it. So, stretching time, stretching facts is what she does. It's weird that she's admitting to so many things, but then at the same time saying it's a massive conspiracy. I mean, she basically said on TV, I thought I might have incapacitated him, and now she's saying it's a massive cover-up. So like in the same sentence. It's so weird. It doesn't even make sense to me. The resort does look big. I was thinking, but like the kids were on the opposite side of the pool. I just don't know. I don't know. I just wonder what. So I mean, at 10 p.m., if they got into that fight, and then he doesn't come home till 3 a.m. That doesn't mean he's cheating. It means she was probably being a bitch, and he was like, "I'm done with you for the night. See you next year," and took off and went drinking. I mean, but to say that she had a ring in the New Year's with the kids, they didn't even have the same room. So she was probably in that room with the kids waiting for him to like come attack him. But it's gonna be interesting because the kids are gonna be able to tell, gonna say what actually happened. It was at 10 p.m. They screamed at each other for 20 minutes, and then he left or walked out. I don't know. I think a blizzard potentially could have had an impact. I believe that Brian Albert also said that his house is a cell phone dead zone, which could mean multiple different things. Like I would think that could mean that Jen had dropped calls when she called her sister, which maybe looked like they were answered, but they weren't. GPS should still be accurate because it's tower data. But yeah, I don't know. That's why I think the cell phone expert, I'm trying to think of, Garino is the one that did the extraction, and then Jessica Hyde is the one that interpreted it, and then they have the Celebrate guy that's going to explain more about it. So it's going to be interesting to hear from those people. Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be key. So I was reading part of the affidavit today, and it said the niece was sitting on the stairs, and she was listening, and he was telling Karen to leave, that the relationship has run its course, and she was like, "No," which is just like, how do you say no? You don't even like the kids anyway, so how are you going to say no? Yeah, I hate that. I like it's just Jackson is just so scummy. So it puts them on edge already in the beginning, and it makes them seem like they're hiding things. Um and he does it on purpose to like try to like mess with their credibility. Because I mean, like Colin Albert, they're like, when did you talk to like your cousin? He's like, I don't know. A year ago, I don't know. But it's like he's just trying to trip them up. Like they know, and I don't know. I don't like it at all. I think it's just I don't know if any lawyers commented on that. I hate it. It's like so obnoxious because I just feel like it puts them in the hot seat right away. And I mean, that's what he wants, but I just feel like it's not right. And then he's asking them specific questions. What did you talk about? What did you look at? Like, I've never seen a trial where people are asking that before. I think it's obvious, like, that they, have a run through of what they're going to talk about. Yeah, I think so. That's gonna be interesting when we hear from the niece. I think the niece hears her say that he was at Waterfall. So far, Jen and Kerry both said that she said he was at Waterfall, and then the niece heard him say that they got into an argument. She dropped him off at Waterfall. But then when Trooper Proctor comes that afternoon, and then when she tells everyone she doesn't even remember being there at the scene. But then she's also saying she hit him. But then when Trooper Proctor comes, I think it's after her father, they had some time to conspire about a story. She says she did a 3-point turn and left. Which she thought she could get away with saying that was an accident, but then it turned out that, going that slow, it was, wouldn't have cracked his taillight, it wouldn't have killed him. And they were like, no, you're lying. And then they upped the charges. Yeah, it might not be televised. I'm wondering if we'll hear the audio or like what we'll hear about it. Yeah, I know. I don't know. I don't know when they're gonna have the kids testify, if we're gonna see it, what's gonna go on. I mean, I feel like they do want to limit minors testifying, but like in this case, they were the only ones that were in the house with him and Karen that could give insight into their relationship. So I feel like they have to. Um, yeah, I don't know. It will be interesting to see how that will be done. Yeah, I was thinking that she did, but like, I was thinking that she did go to Fairview before Jen's. But I'm like, why did she go to Jen's at all? You know, like, why didn't she just go to Kerry's and then go back to Fairview and discover him? Like, why even bring Jen into it? Unless she was trying to find it and she couldn't find it. Like, that's the only thing that I can think of that makes. I don't know. I don't think what she did that morning makes any sense whatsoever. But I mean, that's the most sense that I can make of it, is that she got close but could not find it and then just went to Jen's. But then it's like, why wasn't she more forceful about, like, we need to go to Fairview right now? Like, when they asked, did you search the house? She says no. But that means that she knows that he wasn't there. You know, she knows that she came home without him. She knows that he wasn't there. Well, that would be interesting if it's a family member, whatever. I never thought that was a real fight. No, I don't even. I think even in that fight that we watched, Colin was scared. So like, no, he wasn't even landing punches. Like, he was like punching and then running away. So like, no, he did not. He did not do anything. I do. I agree. She's super manipulative. Yeah, I can't imagine that they can show that he's in the house, or that the jurors are thinking that at all. I would think, you know, and so even though Karen said in her interview that he went up the driveway, like, I don't know if we're going to see that here. I don't know if they're going to take that as fact, even if they show it in the interview. That's going to be interesting what they do with our interviews. Oh, someone's gonna do that. Put a wig on William Reed, and we can see what Karen's gonna look like when she gets out of prison. Definitely Whoville. If you have the facts on your side, pound the facts. If you have the law on your side, pound the law. If you have neither facts nor law on your side, pound the table. The defense is pounding the table. 100% agree, Space Ninja 9000. Thank you. I just don't see a way forward for them that is not going to make them look awful. Like, Karen's looking awful right now. And I think maybe they were going to try to fight to not let the text messages in. Maybe they're trying to say, I have no idea. I think the text messages are very relevant, though. And like, it is all tied together. So like, the Sullivan sisters were kind of out of left field, I felt like. But then once we see the text, that incident is literally a big problem. Whatever it was. I don't really understand what it was. Like, he was hugging someone in the hallway. Does she really think he was cheating? Like, she didn't, because she even says like he was too drunk to do anything. So it's like, what is she really mad about? Is she mad that she got the extra room with the kids and then he didn't want to spend time alone with her? Like, I kind of think that could be it. And then she was looking to get salami from somebody else, so she was calling up Higgins, and then she went to Higgins' house and he still didn't want to give her the salami. So maybe she had like a whole month without salami, and that's what the whole thing is about. I don't know. Yeah, I was like so bored at that point. I probably wasn't fully watching. But I feel like the other jurors counting drinks and stuff, like I feel like they're still gonna have to replay it or like re-summarize it, because the jurors don't even know what they're looking at. Just like her taillight, that video of the cruiser pulling up behind her car. I don't even think the jurors knew what they were looking at that point. They just showed the taillights now with Jen and Kerry. The picture of the taillight. So like the jurors didn't know what they were looking for in that video earlier when they first showed it. So I feel like they have to show that again too. And maybe that's the enhanced one. Yeah, if there's stuff on the black box. So I heard that because it wasn't a collision, it didn't register anything, but Toyota has TechStream and then they have like the typical black box. So I'm wondering if, because the defense is sketchy, so they might be referring to the black box didn't record anything, but the text, which could mean that the TechStream does have things. And so the black box, because like airbags weren't deployed. I can't believe airbags weren't deployed over that though. Actually, surprising. I mean, yeah, just looking at that, it's just like, that's pretty substantial damage to the car. I know. I would think that they do. And so her phone data, I think it was extracted right away. Like he collected her phone that day and did the extraction right away. But then it took them like a year and a half before they could even see it, because she was saying there was privileged information in there. So they had to wait for her to do like, in court to like show which stuff like needed to be excluded from the extraction or something. Because I think to Yannetti, she's probably like, I didn't think I hit him that hard or something. That's the rumor anyway, is that she had a message, which is ridiculous if she put that in a text message. But she was running around saying, I hit him, so I wouldn't put it past her. And people are saying she's so smart. Like, is she smart? Like, she doesn't seem too smart to me. I don't even know how she's a college professor. Like, the way that she interacts with people, like Brian Higgins toots his horn at her and she gives him the finger and then says, get the fuck away from me. My husband's a Boston cop. Like, is that normal? Is that how Bentley professors all act? I mean, what else did she... Oh, and then the girl in Aruba saying, hi, nice to meet you. And she says, go fuck yourself. Is that how Bentley professors act? I mean, I just don't get it. She doesn't seem... I think she's just manipulative, and like maybe people think that's smart. Maybe she's smarter than your average Joe, but like, I don't know if she's that smart. That would be really interesting. So on the Nightline interview, she says that she goes out in the 2 square miles, driving around the 2 square miles that they were at the preceding night, meaning, back to Waterfall, which we see her in Canton. We see her in the Canton Library footage. She does go there. And then it would be over to Fairview. I don't know if she ended up getting there or not, but she says she does that before calling people, which isn't true, because she called Jen McCabe definitely before she left. I think she called all of them before she left, because all of them, I think Katie, Camerano, all of them said they could hear the niece in the background the first time she called, the first couple of times she called. So that's a lie, unless she really did go out before calling anybody. But I mean, honestly, I would go out before calling anybody, right? Like I mean, not if I ran someone over, but like if someone didn't come home, I wouldn't just start waking everyone up. I would go do my due diligence first. I would probably go to the house and knock on the door. I just don't know what, maybe she couldn't find, I don't know. I wouldn't in a panic. That's the thing. Look at this guy's red shoes. I'm just looking at this. Like, why is he wearing Dorothy slippers? Like, that's weird. Like, is this real? That, maybe they're not red. They're red. Those are red slippers, ruby slippers. I don't know. I wonder who that is. I wonder if that's Higgins sneaking in there with the ruby slippers on. That would be funny if Higgins came out as gay. Maybe he's like, I don't even swing that way. I just wear my ruby slippers and sneak around in the Sally port. I think that's the big thing too, is like they're like, oh, he has access to the Sally port. But I think he uses it as a cut through. And so I wonder if he even looked at the car. I think he's saying he didn't. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to the times, but I know that's the speculation, is that he was in the Sally port, had a chance to mess with the car. But I mean, we saw the video of first thing in the morning of the thing being broken. So I just don't know how they're going to say that. Oh, I just saw a comment. Someone hit a deer at 60 miles an hour, no airbag. That's crazy. The Lally Port. Yeah, that's a good name for it. Definitely. I mean, yeah. I mean, Canton is a nice town. I think it's a nice town. I think this is just such gossip for that town, because I don't think they have murders there. I don't think they have a lot of crime there at all, from what I know. So I think these cops are totally out of their league of what to even do in a case of a murder in a blizzard. So like, I think, you know, people can complain about the solo cups all day long, but it was like either that or they were going to lose the evidence. So they used what they could, and it was the victim's blood anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I think that the leaf blower to blow off the top layers of snow, I mean, I think it was a good idea now that I've seen what they were dealing with. Because in the beginning, I was like, a leaf blower? Like, what the fuck? I'm going to blow all the evidence away? But not realizing that, and I always questioned about the 6 drops of blood, because I was like, how can there be blood on top of the snow when he was hit? You know, because allegedly he was hit when it just started snowing, so there shouldn't be blood drops on top of the snow. And I was always kind of like, well, maybe it's from when they were giving him mouth to mouth and they dripped the blood off there. But I'm like, is that really evidence? But what it really was is that there was pink snow and a layer of pink snow, and they used a leaf blower to blow off the top layer to get down to the level of where the blood was, so that they could take the samples. And, you know, after seeing that, I was like, oh, that's smart, because otherwise you're just digging through the snow and you might not even get a good sample. So they got good samples of the blood because it was like frozen in the lower layers of the snow. I know Jackson is just such a slime ball. I feel like David Yannetti like ruined his reputation, because I don't think he was known to be a scumbag prior to this. But now he's forever a scum. And so, you know, karma's bitch and things are going to happen. And, you know, your entire trajectory of your life has changed because you decided to be a scumbag. And, you know, you're going to have to live with it. Look at Jackson. He looks like a little Oompa Loompa that has a chemical peel. And everyone loves him. like anyone that like loves Alan Jackson, I just think they have questionable morals. I mean, he's Harvey Weinstein's lawyer. He was calling all of like the people that he raped liars. He was Kevin Spacey's lawyer for the kid that he groped in Martha's Vineyard, allegedly. I don't know. So, I mean, I don't even know if he normally does murders. Like, those are the two big cases that I know that he did. So it's kind of like Karen went out of her way to get him. Like, I don't know. She's like, well, this guy got Harvey Weinstein off and Kevin Spacey off. She can get me off. But I mean, what the hell? I wonder if she hit anything else. But I think that they said that there was no tire marks on the grass, so that means that she hit him in the street. So I don't think her car went up in the lawn, allegedly, but who knows? They could be hiding stuff. Yeah, I think that's, I mean, a lot of people want it to be an accident. A lot of people, I think I originally wanted it to be an accident once I realized that the cover-up was fake. And because I was already supporting Karen, I was like, oh my God, she's being framed. But when I first read some of the documents and first realized like that she was a drunk mess, calling around, saying I hit him, you know, to me, it sounded like she had a blackout. She had a drunk night and woke up and she was like, the memories were coming back of what happened. And I was like, oh my God, that would be freaking awful. And I felt bad for her. Now I don't. And it's just mainly because all the harassment and all the BS and the implicating innocent people when you know that it's not true. I just think that's just horrible. And, you know, the more that I find out about the accident, the more that I think about it, it's like it was no accident. It wasn't like you were going pretty fast. That's insane. That's so crazy because then you're like EDR doesn't even register anything. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've kind of been in a situation before, not completely. Yeah, I kind of have, and they were not as forward as Karen was, but even just someone's significant other like texting me, kind of starting to get regularly with texting me, I was very uncomfortable. But it didn't go where Karen took it, but I still was uncomfortable. So I can just imagine, like, that was so cringe, like the stuff that she was saying to him. Damn. I hit a deer at 50 miles an hour, a couple dings in the bumper, and one hair that stayed through rain, snow, and wind for a month. So that's the thing. I'm wondering, like, so they found a hair on the bumper. And so the speculation of what they put out originally was that she hit him going in reverse 24 miles an hour, 24.6 miles an hour, something like that. And kept driving in reverse. So the difference would be like how he like was thrown. So if you continue going, that's why he was thrown off to the side. Like when pedestrians get hit when they're walking along the sidewalk, they get thrown off to the right side. But if she stopped, then he probably would have, flew back into the street. So she continued going. But like, how did his head hit the bumper? And it doesn't have to be his head hair. It could be his arm. It could be any hair. So I just can't think of a way that his head would have hit the bumper to put hair there. Or, I mean, it could have been his arm or his hand or anything. Because usually, like, they will rotate into the car and then they bounce right back off. And so, like, if his arm and his glass hit, I don't know. Unless he was bent over. It's going to be interesting to see what they say. I don't think that the taillight hit him in the head, though. I think the taillight hit his elbow. Kind of looks like it could be what hit there, just from the way his injuries are kind of like his elbow could have went through it, and that's why there's kind of like and then these are the ones that like scraped along the edge of that like light. And whatever that scratch is from. I mean, I would think that the pieces were like some of the glass was probably in his shirt. I just wonder what that thick scratch was, unless there's part of the taillight that was part of the housing that got ripped off or something. I don't know. I would think that's the glass, though. These scratches on the window. This is that glass. I just don't know what scratched there. I mean, he could have had a watch on. It's definitely something hard, though. It could be, I mean, whatever, his phone. I don't think he had, I don't know. It could be a belt. Maybe that's the missing belt. Everyone's always talking about the missing belt. My God. Nobody knows where his belt is. It's gone. Is it really gone? Oh my God, Melanie Little is like the devil. So Brandy Churchwell, she posted something about, and so I watched a couple of things that she did, and I thought she was okay. Like, she's not like a Melanie Little. But she is definitely like on the side of Karen, or believes Karen at this point, at this juncture. But I said something, she was saying like, I don't like how everyone's talking about Paul O'Keefe having a mad face or something. And I was like, well, you're part of the problem, blah, 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 blah. And I said something on Twitter, and then it like blew up. But I don't know. I have to watch her now, because she was like, I'm not one of the people that you think I am. I never thought Colin did it. So, I mean, she's looking at it with a critical eye, it seems like. She still thinks the Google search happened, though, I believe. And I think that's probably what's leading her that direction. But I don't know. I wonder what her theory is. So I'm kind of curious. Because I do think she is trying to, she's not like a cult member. She's weighing the evidence. And so I don't know. I probably should apologize to her, and probably should watch her show or try to go on her show and actually vet out the information, because she might have some good ideas, because I do think she's genuinely trying to look at the information. She just is not, she's just I don't think she's a conspiracy theorist, but I think she is just thinking, it's that Google search. She talked to an expert that told her that 100% that Google search happened in the middle of the night. And I'm like, no, girl, no. I just don't think anyone could just say that. A programmer can't just say that, make that blanket statement, because every version of every software is different. And unless you actually tested and, ran through tests with the right versions, like, you really can't just make that blanket statement. And so that's how I stand on that. I do not think that there's an identical search, misspelled search. I don't think, it's not, it didn't happen. Yeah, I know. I wish, I don't understand why the state police, because I think Trooper Proctor, they didn't let them say why. I think Trooper Proctor said they weren't going to respond to it, and they started to say why, and they objected, so we didn't get to hear it. So we might get to hear it once the state police come up, which I don't know if it makes a difference. Oh God, it's probably cringe as hell. I mean, I think that Yannetti comes off as a decent human. Some of the stuff where he's like, but he's sneaky. Like he'll be like, "Oh, I don't have my readers." He's like, "Oh, I did that too." And like the judge will just be like, "Okay, Mr. Yanni, just give it to her." Because he's trying to I don't even know what the right word is, but he's trying to make himself seem like more human. Whereas Alan Jackson is just an attack dog all the time. He's, I don't think the jury would like someone like that at all. I can see Yannetti appealing to people. He doesn't seem as scummy. So I just think Alan Jackson, they just think he's scum. And like anytime that there's a witness, they know what's going to happen. They're going to be yelled at. So I feel like the jurors already know. Like I'm bored with Jackson, to be honest. I don't like them all being attacked about when did you talk to the DA? When did you say this statement? Oh, in February when you testified, did you say the same exact words? Oh, you called it a blob and you didn't call it a image or a blob and you didn't call it whatever the hell. It was like a different word, but it's the same thing. It's like, do you know what a synonym is? Like, shut the I hope so. I definitely hope so. I agree. I think that's what it is though, because Turtle Boy bullies people, Alan Jackson bullies people. They like it. I don't know. It makes them feel power. I don't know why people like it. I don't like people. It makes me uncomfortable to see people being treated like that, to be honest. Even if it's warranted, it's different. I don't even know. I can't even think of a time. I just don't like it. It's all the time from Alan Jackson. He's like very annoying. He's very hard to watch. Oh yes, I did. I saw this on some channel and I do want to like watch that video. Like Yannetti has a video where he's like, I got off a guy after he confessed to he was guilty. And so this would be his second one if that happens with Karen Reed. That's why Karen Reed chose him, because he got some guy off that confessed and he got it thrown out. I wonder what it was though. Hopefully it's not murder. Like I just can't understand how like attorneys would be proud of that if it's like, oh yeah, I killed a bunch of people and I got him off. I'm so cool. Yeah, I could see that potentially happening. I think it's all going to come down to like her phone data and like how bad it looks, how bad she comes off. Because I always thought this was a manslaughter case, and I still don't know. But if she left him in the snow, if she was like Googling stuff, like how long does it take to die in the cold? I keep thinking that because I'm like, well, she had that on her mind. I wonder if she actually Googled that too. I don't know. Her phone's going to be interesting. Unless she was able to scrub it somehow. Yeah, I know. I think that's why the judge is being so cautious, because that other case with Turtle Boy, I think they're trying to postpone that until this is over, because I think Karen's going to get more charges for that too. But they don't want it to. They want to keep them separate. They need this one to be done with so they can prosecute that one. I agree. I think that it was the defense lying about things in the beginning that I was like, no. The dog bites, number one. Like, that's not dog bites. Like, you can see the furrows in the skin, like how that guy said. The furrows. Like, you can see that it's like indents in the skin, which is typically abrasions, blunt impact abrasions. I think that ones higher up could be lacerations. Those could be cuts from the taillight. But I think these, like especially that lower one, I think I have a better picture. Do I? Like there's a way that you can tell when you look at the wounds. Oh, so this is another one. So this is blunt impact abrasions from a different, like a car accident. And so that's kind of like what it could be. It can leave that kind of imprint. And if it's hard enough, then it will become a laceration. But I believe that that's what his looks like. Because when I have like a really good picture of it. So when you look up close, you can see that it's not lacerations. It almost looks like scabs. And that's like, because like the blunt force impact, it's like, it hits the skin so hard that it's like, the skin is starting to break, but there's certain layers that are still connected. And that's why it's like that jagged looking, it's not like a cut. That's how you know it's like blunt impact abrasions. So for people to say this is dog bites, it's like literally insanity. I just, I just can't get over that people thought these are dog bites. I mean, I think they're saying like this part looks like it. I mean, it's just not a row of teeth. And it's just like, if you were going to ask someone, do you think this came from a dog's mouth or from being put into this glass in this taillight? I think they're going to pick the glass every time. I don't know. What a nightmare. What a nightmare. What a nightmare. People are crazy. In one of the documents, it said the belt was on the floor in the hospital. Interesting. So that's the thing that I'm wondering, like, when did the cover up start? And so I've gone back and forth where I'm like, oh, the cover up started when she knew that she hit him and he was down. And so she left that voicemail at 1 a.m. to say that was when she dropped him off at the waterfall, right? That was when the cover up started. Possible. But then when she woke up in the morning, she's saying he's dead. I hit him. Like that's the opposite of cover up. She's like admitting it. And so like it's just confusing. But then she wants Kerry to drive her car, which kind of seemed like, well, that's kind of sketchy. That's kind of a cover up. I don't know. She's just all over the place. She's out of her freaking mind. I just don't know why people are still thinking this is a goddamn. Yeah, I mean, I think that I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see the accident reconstruction because it's like, did his elbow go through the taillight? Because it does look like this is swollen, maybe. Like I don't see his elbow. So it's like, is this all swollen? So is this really what went through the taillight? It does look kind of bruised. I just can't tell. And I mean, there's going to be more pictures, but like I mean, this arm does look like it could be broken. Like I mean, we haven't seen the autopsy, so we have no idea. But like, it doesn't look right. Like, it looks like it's the stuff here. Like, where's the elbow? Is it that swollen that you can't even see the elbow? Like, yeah, it's very, like, I can't tell. Like this, I mean, this could be muscle. It does look kind of misshapen, though. I guess the elbow would be right here, but it just seems like you should be able to see it. It just seems like it must be, like, really swollen. Or broken. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Pick up his phone, or if she was fighting with them and as he was stepping out of the car, she floored it, so he fell on the ground and he was drunk, and she's like backed into him as he was standing up to try to get out of the way. Definitely the glass in his hand. And the glass got thrown. The glass got thrown at the yard too. So it's kind of like, it's just, yeah, everything flowed off to the left of the car. So that means she kept driving. Because if she hit it and braked, everything would have been thrown like into the street. But because everything, him and the glass and the phone were all thrown into the yard, it means she was reversing and kept going. Like she didn't hit the brake. Which is kind of crazy because it's like, wasn't that Jeep right there with the plow on it? Oh, maybe she hit that. Like, she could have hit the plow. Imagine. No, their car would have been like much more messed up. But it's like, how did she stop? Because if the Jeep was parked there by the mailbox, she didn't have that much space to keep going in reverse. I guess she probably could have hit the brake after the flagpole, but she was not hitting the brake when she hit him. Yeah, I wish that. I mean, I feel like if they could, once that's out of the picture though, because I think for me, the 227 search was the hardest part to like, that was the main thing that led me into the conspiracy, I think. And probably a lot of people. And so I feel like, but all the other pieces, I didn't look into what they were saying. I didn't look immediately into the 227 search. I just like, was like, it happened. But as I read through everything else like fit, like she definitely did it. And then I was like, all right, the Google search. And then once I looked into that, I was like, oh, it's a DB wall file. And then I looked into the data. I was like, hell no. I think my first inclination was, though, just all the other witnesses that I didn't know existed before. I didn't know that the daughter existed. I mean, the niece. I didn't know anything about Kerry Roberts. I didn't know that Kerry Roberts was there the whole time because Turtleboy was all saying it was Jen McCabe, framed everything. Jen McCabe did the Google search. Jen McCabe was related to everyone. Jen McCabe manipulated everything, and that's it. I mean, I'm hoping for an insurrection at the house. I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. I mean, these people are just like, do they not have jobs? It's just so bizarre. Like, did you ever see the birthday video they all made for her? It's so cringe. I made a video about it, like the Killer Karen cult. And it was just like, they're all like, Karen, I'm so happy to spend the day with you. I love you. Like, so many people, like little kids. I'm just like, this is so sick. And they all sang happy birthday to her outside of the courthouse. Like, and Turtle Boy was like orchestrating it. Like, these people are so sick. It really is sickening. Yeah, that's what I'm I don't know. I think some creators are dumb. Like I don't know. It depends on how much they really know about this case, though. Because when I listen to some people, I don't think that they even really know all of the details at all. Like, I don't think Melanie Little really knows all the details. I think she just says what she wants to say. And she knows the cover up is like the good angle, and that's it. And, she'll read documents that come out, but yeah, so she got it. That's the thing. Like, she got a lawyer that same day. So she told John O'Keefe's family, we're never going to talk again. And, she was allegedly living there. I mean, that's what she told Higgins. All her stuff was there. And she goes in and out of the house within 10 minutes. The Ring cameras are deleted. And she just says, I'm never going to talk to them again. Never talks to them again. The kids that she was pretty much raising for 2 years doesn't even worry about what they're doing the next day. And, just takes off. I just think that's like so messed up. And I think that's why the family was like, okay, she did it. Like, she definitely did it. And then she got a lawyer. So I wonder when she got the lawyer, if she got the lawyer after talking to Proctor or before. Because I don't think that David Yannetti would have told her to just give up the phone. So I think maybe it was after Proctor came. It's interesting, though. I highly doubt that David Yannetti would have been like, oh, yeah, give them your phone, unless she didn't consult with them about that. I think, yeah, he definitely would have been like, get a search warrant and we'll try to scrub your phone. Yeah, I wonder. I mean, I feel like, honestly, I think she would have been better off with Yannetti. I think that Alan Jackson is the one that created the circus with Turtle Boy and with all the bullying and with everything else. And I just think she would have been better off with just Yannetti. I don't think Yannetti would have created the circus on his own. I think he would have been pushing for, the right thing. Like, trying to say it was an accident or whatever. It was involuntary. It was whatever. But I think that would have been the right approach. I don't think implicating innocent people is ever okay. I don't think he would have done it. And then I've been seeing a lot of people. So I don't know what the story is with so I don't know. I have no idea what the unedited photos are. So these are the ones that, this is from the 6 that are on the page from the autopsy. They could be edited. I don't know. I think they came from Turtle Boy. I think he's the only one that they came from. But then there was one in the news. The one that's on the news was this one. And it was, so I don't know what the source is. But the one that they showed in court was all bloody. It looked much worse than either one of these pictures. It was before he was cleaned up. So I don't know. Yeah, I wonder if she slept. So what I know about this is that I think it was either a voicemail or a text. Karen said I didn't think she didn't think she hit him that hard, and it was to Yannetti. So like that's something that I'm curious about. So she must have had Yannetti before he sees the phone. So maybe he had, I don't know if he had a probable cause for it if she just gave it up. But I think part of this is what Turtle Boy's fighting in court now. I think is like he was out to dinner with his attorney. It was brought up in front of Turtle Boy's girlfriend at the time, and I think she repeated it. And that's when a bunch of shit went down, because then his girlfriend kind of like testified against him, and basically he was colluding with Karen Reed to try to exonerate her, try to harass the victims, And a big part of it was, or a part of the story is that something about this voicemail, this text between Karen and Unetti that was said in front of Turtle Boy and his girlfriend, which is weird. I mean, that's like huge. Yep. So in the hospital, so the father went on TV and said, my daughter in the hospital, she said, Dad, I was backing up and I think I hit something. And, you know, so that he went on TV to say that. And then he went on TV to show that video of her backing into John O'Keefe's car and said that's where it happened. But so I think that she probably did say this in the hospital, but I think she said more because he went out there to get ahead of it to, trying to change her words the same way that she's going on TV after and saying, preceded by a did and followed by a question mark, trying to like curb what was actually said. And so it's going to be interesting to see what she actually said in the hospital. Because there's always some truth to most of the stuff they put out there, but then it's like she ties it into the wrong people. Like everything about Colin Albert was like there was truth to it. Like John O'Keefe did report someone for drugs, but it wasn't Colin Albert. John O'Keefe did yell about some kid cutting through his lawn, but it wasn't Colin Albert. John O'Keefe did catch kids drinking outside of his house or throwing beer cans on his lawn, but it wasn't Colin Albert. So there's truth to some of the stuff that they say, but it's not the whole truth. It's purposely twisted. And yes, I mean that's what I'm getting out of these text messages, is that she's very unhinged. Not just that, but just how she said, "Go fuck yourself" to the girl in the hallway in Aruba, and then what's his face beeps at her and she flips him off. Like she is, faces the world like it's a battle, and that's pretty much like her defense strategy. It's like everyone's an enemy. The Jeep plow was gone. So I wonder when it was gone. So like I think he didn't check into Canton Police Department until 1:30. And so I would think that the plow would still be there. But I have questioned whether it was gone too, because it does seem like those 3 kids in the truck didn't see the Jeep plow, didn't talk about it. So I'm not sure. So I think this was in one of her texts that we saw this. Her text to Turtle Boy, because Turtle Boy is like, well, how did you think that you hit him? And she said that she thought that maybe he changed his mind and she clipped him, and then in his drunkenness passed out. But she does say the drunkenness and passed out thing too in her interview. I don't know. She's just a weird. I don't even understand. Like she's saying the same thing that other people are saying, so it's like not even that different. I mean, I think I'm wondering too, like, how did she hit him? How did she do it? I mean, I think we know that she knew what she was doing. I just don't know if she knew the severity of it or not, but I think I am wondering about the mob. So the mob is thinking that on Friday it not proved, but that it kind of showed that Higgins has motive, right? So Higgins' motive is what? He wanted to date Karen Reed, so he framed her for murder. That's his motive. Like, if Higgins was going to kill John O'Keefe, he wouldn't have just left him, done a hit and run. I mean, I don't know what they're thinking. Like his motive could be. I mean, I think that she probably still could get a plea deal, but or I don't know what the rules are in Massachusetts, but like most of the time they still can get it. I just have never seen a trial where, or have followed one where they just in the middle of the trial they're like, okay, we're gonna do a plea deal, and they just end the trial. I think her father is looking stressed. I mean, this must be so stressful for both families. Um, because you can see it in like Peg's face and Paul's face, like a lot of the conspiracy shit. It's like really pissing them off. And like, you know, because all of these witnesses are going through hell and all they're doing is trying to tell the truth and trying to help them get justice for their loved one. And these witnesses are like having to like ruin their reputations over something that, you know, they're just telling the truth. They shouldn't have to be going through this. And it's like a shame that, I mean, something has to be done about what has happened in this case because this cannot go on. Like, this can't happen again. I think they have to learn whatever it is. Maybe they need harsher penalties for witness intimidation. I don't know. But it's definitely not stuff that should be happening. It's like unbelievable, like that people are just going to come out and just harass innocent people. Like I don't know how. I don't know. The whole Turtle Boy sham, though, I just think I've never seen a case like this where people are like going to all the hearings because it wasn't even like she was at trial. It was like her hearing. So like dismiss this case. She's factually innocent. I think that was their strategy. That's why she got Alan Jackson. She was trying to get it dismissed before it went to trial. She thought that she could. And their strategy was to try to scare the Commonwealth with all these issues that they were going to bring up and like drag everyone through the mud. And the Commonwealth was like, no, like we have a lot of evidence. We know she did it. And no. And so, and I think that I think the Commonwealth definitely should. Oh my God, imagine if the Commonwealth gave in and dismissed this. That would be such a shame for the families, for all the people that were like implicated in this, because then everyone's just going to think, oh, it was true. I agree. I mean, I think he's like bored a lot of the time, but like some of the stuff, like I saw him shaking his head looking at her one time when I think it was when Jen McCabe was testifying about that morning. Because I mean, it's pretty freaking horrible. She called up these people as if she didn't know what happened when she knew exactly what happened. And he was freezing to death in the snow. And he probably could have been saved. And so, yeah. I mean, the mother is just like so annoyed every time that they bring up the goddamn Google search. I mean, I don't know who is an alcoholic in this situation. All I hear about is drinking in this story. But I mean, it was the weekend. I just don't know. I haven't seen, but I did watch. I would try to watch her for like, I don't know, it was like 10 minutes, and I was annoyed because it was just more. I don't know. I just wanted to watch the witnesses, but she kept pausing it and yelling about the witnesses, saying like, "You don't remember stuff the next day, and don't call the police." I'm like, oh. I mean, if I was involved in this case, I would not want my name being put into the documents so that I can be harassed. I would rather keep my mouth shut and stay out of it until I had to, if possible. You know, I don't know. I think a lot of people are probably like, what the hell? Like Julie Nagel was pissed. You could just tell. Sarah Levinson was kind of left alone. But she didn't testify before, and she said it. She's like, I wasn't legally obligated to say anything before, and that's why I didn't say anything before. Because, you know, in this case especially, they're getting harassed. So I don't even think Sarah Levinson saw anything. Anyway, she was just there. She's just like, yeah, we played cards and watched a video and had some beers. Yeah, I mean, the whole waking of the niece up and having her make the calls, I think that it's I think probably John wasn't answering her, and that's probably why she woke the niece up to call from the niece's phone to see if he would answer for her. And then if they have like a location device, and like if they do though, and she didn't go straight to 34 Fairview, that's really messed up. But if they did share that location, or they have something like Life 360 or something like that, where Karen Reed opened it and looked and saw his location, and she didn't go right there, right then, that's fucked. Like she's a murderer then, for sure. You know, I can see the manslaughter argument, but if there's any point where they can show that she knew and still went on this wild goose chase, you know, this caravan of cars in the blizzard, driving around circles, driving around Canton, she's a murderer. Because who knows how long, you know, I don't think his heart was beating at the time. I don't think they ever like were able to resuscitate him. But you know, we don't know. We don't know. It could have been minutes. It could have been any amount of time. You don't know. So the deleted ring. So the event log. So whatever that event log is, I'm wondering if there is an event at 12:41. So that's the thing that I'm confused about. Is I believe that Lally said 12:46 is when they believe they have key cycle data showing her backing into him. If I'm wrong about that, tell me. But I'm almost positive he said 12:46 because I was surprised. I was thinking earlier, and I was thinking earlier because his phone, the last GPS movement was at 12:25, meaning probably a 10, 15, 20 foot radius he didn't move from after that time. So at 12:25, he was within the same 10 feet until his body was found. So then at 12:31 or something, I think it's 12:31, there's like 36 steps or something, which could be him getting out of the car, walking, but it could also be that's when he was hit. And like, I don't know. So 36 steps he walked. But then it's like, so then he was maybe out of the car at that point. So then 10 minutes later he got hit. Like, I don't know. The timing is just weird. I'm hoping that they didn't get the goddamn key cycle time wrong, because then that's gonna like screw up everything else. But if they have, I don't think that he would say that time though. If they have, so we know that they don't have a ring camera of her coming home at 12:41. Turtle Boy said that in when I was like arguing with him one time in that video. So he said 12:41 they have a ring camera. We know that it was deleted. However, it still has an event log. So maybe there is an event log that shows what time she got home. Maybe 12:41. I don't know why they're saying that time, but they want it to be that time. And for whatever reason, they want it to be that time because Unetti said it too, that they have a voicemail and they heard her high heels on the floor at 12:41. So I don't know. I don't know what they have, but I would think that the Commonwealth's not going to put out a conflicting time if there's actual data that shows 12:41 anything happened. I don't know. I don't think so. It's probably stored in the cloud. I think I looked at this a little bit and the ring is like not held. I don't know. It's permanently deleted when you delete it though. Basically that's what it said. Yep, the library gap. Yeah, I just can't wait to find out. Oh, thanks, Dr. Zapp. I try. I'm trying to put together the whole video. Basically, you know, basically their case. So their case is, so far, the case is the events of that morning. It's the events the night before. And now we're in her state of mind. And so, like, those are the three parts of the case that we've seen so far. And then we're going to get into we're going to get into more state of mind, and then experts. So the library thing, I don't think it's important. I think that they made it up. But it was one of the conspiracy things that got a lot of people like, oh, there's missing footage. So the defense came out and said that there was missing library footage from 12:37 to 12:39, which would show her taillight intact, meaning after she left 34 Fairview Road, she drove by the library and it should have caught her taillight intact. And that footage is missing. However, I went to the library and I have the video of what the camera looks like. So the camera is inside the library. It's an interior camera that's motion activated, so it's not like just running all the time. And so when a car passes, it records. So she didn't even go that way though. So it's facing Washington Street, and that wouldn't even be the way that she went anyway. So the defense is saying, oh, there's deleted library footage. But I mean, I don't even think it exists. I don't even think that's the time that she drove by there in the first place. So I think it's just a scam. Yeah, so that's probably why. That is true. That is probably the 12:41 reason. So they're saying she was home at 12:41 so they can say that the library footage is missing, even though it's not facing the street that she would have driven on when she went home. So the library's on the corner of Washington Street and Sherman. And Sherman is what would cut across to get from Fairview to One Meadows. Washington Street is where you would turn if you wanted to go to the Waterfall Bar. So she didn't go to the Waterfall Bar. She went home to One Meadows, so she wouldn't have been on the camera anyway. But yeah, that probably is why the 12:41 is there, so that they can say, oh, that camera footage is missing. But it's not even facing the right street. I mean, unless I like missed the camera, but I went into the library like last week and I was like, where is that camera? There's no cameras facing Sherman Street at all. There was that one camera, and I remember specifically they did say it was an interior camera that they caught her on several times. So it's basically on the left side of the library, like far away from the intersection. Like I don't even think it wouldn't capture the intersection at all. So it's like it's a scam, just like most of the things in this case. Everything in this case is a scam. I think I have it. Oh yeah, the John's phone. They don't believe Kerry picked up the phone. I think. What were they trying to say? I saw some kind of conspiracy today that they were like, no, the phone was not. Kerry didn't pick up the phone. I don't even remember what they're saying. Someone took it and went in the house or some bullshit. But I mean, everything that they've said has been a lie. So they said, originally they were saying nobody came out of the house, no cops went in the house, which was a lie. They went in the house right away. As soon as he was taken away, they had Jen wake them up. And when they woke up at the bottom of the stairs, the cops were standing there. So the cops did go in the house. So that was always a lie. And then he was already gone, so they didn't go outside and they didn't wake up during the whole commotion. So, I mean, that's like a big thing that people were saying for a long time is like, nobody came outside. But like after the cops came in the house, what are you going to do outside? Are you going to go and look? I mean, I can see why you'd be like, oh, they should go look at it. But at the same time, he's probably like, oh, I don't want them to say I'm tampering with the crime scene. I don't want any of my DNA near any of this. Like, I don't know what's going on. So, I mean, I think he would have been damned if he did, damned if he didn't. Like, I think it's probably better that he didn't go out there in that area, because then everyone would be like, oh, he was out there trying to like hide or plant evidence or hide evidence or whatever they're going to say. So I think that was just always a big scam. Hmm. Yeah, I think. Yeah, she's like, we're both single without kids. Yeah, so that's why I'm like, did she really think he was cheating? Like, she was just trying to make it be like, it's okay, we can smash. Well, I think that's the whole problem with the conspiracy is that we haven't seen in trial the phone data yet, but yes, and I think that Karen's still there at that time. I think that's probably why they want her home by 12:41 too, because um, they want to show that he was walking around while, or like his phone was taking steps after she had left, right? Which I don't think they can. So he was killed next to her car while she was still there. I mean, or he was still in that spot. So they would have had to run his phone. So Karen would have dropped him off in the driveway. He walked up to the house. They attack him. Jen McCain or one of them grabs his phone and like, let's plant this out in the yard. But and then plant it right next to Karen's car. And then Karen's calling his phone to see if he got inside the house, but it's sitting right next to her car. And then at the same time, after they plant it out in the yard, Jen starts butt dialing him, but she's not butt dialing. She's trying to find the phone that they planted out in the yard. Like it doesn't make any sense. Like you can't even get anywhere with this conspiracy anymore. They just need to abort. I know. I mean, I just can't. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why she's. I mean, maybe Higgins really is her type. I don't think so, though. I think she just was. I mean, he's the only single one, right? That everyone else that John hangs out with is a couple, so he's probably the only single one. So she's just wants to smash, I guess. She really needs to get it together. Well, I think it's too late for that, actually. Mm. I'm trying to find this Canton Library video. Okay, so the Canton Library. So essentially, there's cameras up in the library. So if you look at the top section, I'll pause it when I get to it. But so there's cameras in the library. This is not facing a street, so these cameras are not valid. And so they're motion activated, and there's two that are facing the front of the building. Or there's one, actually. And so they have been saying, and I think this is kind of the view. I don't think this is the exact window, but it's right now Canton Library is under construction. So there's, but I mean, I probably didn't even get that good of a view of her car, but I think it's enough that they know that she drove over there and, you know, went back and forth that morning. Because there's probably not a lot of cars on the road in the middle of the blizzard. But let's see. Yeah, I mean, I don't think she had a lot. She had that like crazy Natalie friend that like went to Turtle Boy and was like acting as her intermediary, but I shouldn't even say crazy. So they were like friends. They went to Bentley College together or something. And so this is the camera. So it's basically, it's in the front of the library, and this is the view that you get. So I think this is probably what we're going to see. And so I don't know if the shade was down or up, and this construction stuff won't be there. But see, like you can see that car. And this is basically what it looks like. So it's not near the intersection. So you'd only see Washington Street. It's interesting though. It is interesting that there's not that many cameras in Canton, I guess. Like just thinking about compared to a city, like there's cameras a lot of places. Like I don't know. They really didn't get a lot of cameras, but at the same time, a lot of cameras are motion activated, and during a blizzard, the motion activation is not going to work that good. Because it either gets like it's not seeing the motion, or it's counting. It's not catching everything. So that's the thing with blizzards in general, and the rain is like your motion activated stuff is messed up. But the same thing with your cars, your backing up sensors and stuff are messed up. So there's like a lot of, that's what I was thinking too, the traffic cameras, but like, are they, I don't know how often they record, if they're just recording if people run red lights. I think in Florida, they just record when you run red lights, or it snaps a picture. I don't know if it's a video. I hope so. I would think so. I would think you can get that from Celebrate. I know that's a rumor, and I'm just like, was she thinking that? Was she really thinking that much into it that morning, where she would shut off her GPS? Like, I don't know. I know that they have her on the RTT, the tower, and that's how they know her location. I always have a million browser tabs open. I need to shut them. I think it would take me like a day just to shut them all. I think I have the max. I think 500 is probably the max. There's a video. So that video, I forgot about that video too. The jury's going to see that. So that video, I think, is when she's being arraigned the second time. So I think she was first arraigned in, a couple days later. And then I think it's maybe April that she was arraigned for murder. Or indicted for murder. Indicted? I don't know. I probably got the word wrong, but whatever. Or the second arraignment, the second time when they upped her charges. So in that second one, that's when she says, I think that's when she's saying, you're all in on the same joke, right? Colin Albert and Brian Albert, Brian Albert and Colin Albert beat him up and he was pulverized, and I just have a smashed out taillight or something. I don't know I don't think she was saying that they bashed the head into the taillight, but it kind of, like, what she was saying kind of doesn't make sense. She's talking about two different things. Is she saying, oh, my taillight was only smashed out when you know that he got beat up? Like, I don't really know what she's trying to say in that. I agree. I think so that the backup sensors, there's probably an argument that could be made that they don't work in the snow that well. Or they don't work at all, or if there was snow on her backup camera. Like, there's a lot of things that could be said about that, which, I don't know. But I think backing up that fast in reverse, there's no reason for it. I mean, I don't think there's any reason for her to back up at all. In that, like, you would have just been driving straight, because they came in the wrong direction. They should have never came in that way to begin with. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I had a Lexus that it's probably the same setup as hers. It wouldn't let me back into things. I think I could turn it off. I don't think I ever did though. And so, like, I I think it turns on automatically though. Like I think I had shut it off a couple times, but I think you have to do it each time you get in the car. But I think it only works if you're going 20 miles an hour backwards, it's not going to work. I think it's under 5 or 10 miles an hour, it works. So I don't know. But she had backup cameras. It probably beeped. I mean, I don't know if it would even beep though, because if you're going that fast, because the backup sensors work when you're backing up slow. I mean, you're only supposed to back up slow unless you're trying to kill someone. So I don't know. I think that anybody that goes 20 miles an hour in reverse should automatically be charged with murder. That's just my opinion. There's no reason for that. Or unless you're trying to escape a murderer. But regardless, 20 miles an hour in reverse, it's something to do with a murder. Yeah, I try to think of a way that it could be Higgins. I just can't get to it. I mean, I just can't get there. It's an interesting thing to ponder, but I just don't see the motive. I don't see how he could do it. I mean, her phone data is going to seal the deal, because if her phone shows that she's, he stopped moving at 12:31 and it shows that she's still there at 12:31, how can he have gotten in the house? I mean, how could she killed him? Like, I just feel like there's just not another option. If he stopped moving and her phone's still there, and he's where her car was last seen, she killed him. Like, it's not a mystery. I don't understand how people are like, think this is a conspiracy. Like, the only conspiracy is that they got meatheads to think that she didn't kill him. Yeah, that's what I would think. Saying it was an accident. Yeah, that's true though too. So I don't know where they get the 24 miles per hour from. If it's from the black box or if it's from the accident reconstruction. So if it's from the black box, yeah, her tire's gonna be spinning. And then all of a sudden she got traction and she hit something. But if it's from the accident reconstruction, I don't know. I just don't. None of those things are high enough to hit the. None of those items are high enough to hit the taillight, I don't think. Yep. And her parents got her out of that psych ward immediately and then took her back to the house to delete ring cam footage and took the car out of there before anyone knew about the taillight. And I think that's probably what Jen McCabe was figuring out, was like, Karen was saying I hit him. She kind of knew that, but then they started to like think of the taillight. I think that's what they started to figure out. And they were like, oh, shit. And I don't think Jen really looked at the taillight. It sounds like she glanced at it briefly, but Kerry gave a really detailed description of it. So yeah. I mean, we'll see. I mean, you never know. I don't know what the defense thinks they have. I want to look at their witnesses and just kind of like, I just feel like they've had nothing so far besides all the stuff we already know. And most of it was lies. Like the Ford Edge, they didn't bring up drugs. They didn't bring up Ford Edge. They didn't bring up a lot of stuff that, they'll probably never bring up this Canton Library footage. Right? It's not that complicated. I mean, I just feel like the phone data, it's like if they can show that her phone was, and I think that they can, because otherwise the defense would have been plastering it everywhere. that she was at that house. I wonder what time it's going to show her leaving. I don't know. I mean, she got to who knows? Imagine if she was smart enough to shut off, put it in airplane mode right away, right after she hit him, so that they didn't know when she got home. What's the story of Karen saying she can go back to John's house afterwards? I'm not sure if you mean. So going back to John's house after hitting him with the car, she told Kerry that she wasn't supposed to stay in Canton that night, which is odd because she was telling Higgins that she lived there and all her stuff was there. But then she only had a little bag when she came out of the house with their father. So it's like none of her stuff was there, or she just left it all and abandoned everything. I know that once they charged or arrested her, she was not allowed to go near the family. But that was 48 hours later. So the first 2 days, I would think that she's in contact with the kid, like a normal person. If she was innocent, she would be in contact with the family, the kids, making funeral arrangements. And she didn't do that. She just was like, peace. These aren't my kids. Someone else has to take care of them. I'm so glad I'm out of here. I really hated taking care of these kids. I mean, that's the thing that's a very strong theme in all of her text messages, that I never asked for kids. Okay, then why are you dating someone that has kids? It's just weird. All right, I'm going to end this live. But I hope some good stuff comes out on Tuesday. I mean, I really think that if Lally is smart, he is going to set everything up Tuesday to be really explosive. I mean, the Higgins stuff, I really hope they just hurry up with him. He is so boring. So this is the big thing with the phones. So what I think is that they just, not necessarily even anything unlawful, but would you want Alan Jackson to have your phone? Because I sure as hell wouldn't. I think that it was more, who knows what else they were doing. I mean, Higgins is single, so even just whatever it could be. I mean, they did try to exploit Matt McCabe, calling it the Asian house. They're trying to go after that guy's job for the way he got the text messages off the phone. I mean, I wouldn't want to just give up my phone to people that are going to, run it through the mud and try to find dumb shit. But I don't think they weren't covering anything up. So they were ordered to preserve their phones. This is not evidence. So that's the thing. This isn't evidence. So they were ordered to preserve their phones in September, 8 months later. And they upgraded before that. But then one of them got rid of, one of them traded in their phone. The other one, Brian Albert traded in his phone, got a new phone before the preservation order. And then Higgins traded in his phone before the preservation order, but kept the old phone because he was ordered to preserve, and he was ordered to preserve it. So he did preserve it. But then the motion from the defense was denied. So the defense never got access to their phones anyway. So after that was denied, then they were like, oh, we don't need to preserve the phone anymore. Which I don't know, is that they still don't have access to the phone. So even if they still didn't have the phone, the defense still wouldn't have it. So it's not destroying evidence. They never got the rights to have the phone. So I just think it's a smoke and mirrors thing. There's nothing really there. They destroyed and updated one day before a preservation order. Right. But after the preservation order, then the defense tried to get the phones and they did not get access to it. So it's not destroyed either. It's, yeah, updated. So the defense was denied access to the phone. So even Higgins was maintaining his phone so that, you know, he preserving the phone. But then once they were denied, they got rid of the phone. Or he got rid of the phone. But we will see. Yeah, I mean, Higgins was single. He probably had girls on there. You know, who knows what these guys do? Even just, you know, they're cops. They know what so like they know what people do with the phones. So like they know that they're going to try to exploit you for something if they want to. So, but all right, I'm gonna end this live. Thanks everybody. Have a good night, and hopefully we'll see some stuff on Tuesday, and I'll probably do a live that night. All right, have a good night.